Welcome back, Husky fans, into a new semester, meaning more episodes of the UConn Men's Basketball Weekly Breakdown Show, Run It Back. I'm Avery Becker.
And I'm Julia Sasso.
And today we're going to be discussing last week's game against Xavier, Butler, and then tomorrow's game against DePaul. Let's get into it.
Utter domination for 2 years.
Last Tuesday, the Huskies took on the Butler Bulldogs in Hartford and took the win 80-78 in overtime. Sophomore Solo Ball had 23 points and 2 assists, and redshirt junior Alex Caravan had 19 points and 7 rebounds. It was a terrific game for both for Solo and Alex, but it was also a really rough game on the defensive side of things. Samson Johnson fouled out, and Terrace Reed Jr. got themselves a little bit of foul trouble, and we've kind of been seeing that in games so far this season where we really struggle around the post and really struggle at kind of being like that force to be reckoned with, which really causes us to have these really close down to the wire matchups. We had a 48% field goal percentage, which is like just kind of average for this team. Not really what you want to see. Like I said, it was kind of a down to the wire, back and forth matchup. But I feel like a broken record. I kind of said this last semester. Our 3-point field goal percentage was only at 30%. I feel like in order to get ourselves up in these games, is just keep racking up those points beyond the arc. And we were really struggling with that. And that could also be because we're without our sharpshooter, Liam McNeely, who is also really good at getting those 3-pointers and adding that to our score for us. But overall, it was a good game for the Huskies. I wouldn't say it was one of our best games of the season. But, we got the dub. We got the Big East win. But, yeah, what were your thoughts, Julia?
I agree. I wouldn't say it was the best game, but it was certainly... At certain points, you could see an improvement from previous games. They were once again struggling with the fouls, which they have been the entire semester. And like you said, I feel like a broken record because I've been saying it since last semester. Just foul trouble over and over and over again. It's really an issue they need to look into. And yeah, I feel like it was a bit of an improvement, but overall, still struggling with the defense, still struggling with the fouls.
Yeah, and I love how you talked about improvement, and I know that's what Dan Hurley's trying to help fix with his team without McNeely, the freshman. And you did see a little bit of improvement, but we need to be a team that without our sharpshooter, we can still hold our own. And I know last season we had Stephon Castle out with an injury, and that's when Solo Ball kind of stepped up and took the reins a little bit. We need to have those players this year that will step up when those integral players are not able to play on the court, because that I think is what will really be the difference maker as we make our way towards March.
Well, if the Butler game was 1 step forward, the Xavier game was 3 steps back, with foul troubles being once again in full display, with Hassan Diarra having 2 fouls kick off the game, and Caravan fouling out in the final moments of the second half, as well as Terrace Reed Jr. and Jaden Ross both being in foul trouble. However, it wasn't all bad, as we saw some good performances from Solo Ball, who got 20 points, and Aiden Mahaney, who had probably one of his best performances in the past couple games with 13 points. And they both just kind of brought an energy that at times you could see kind of brought the offensive side alive when they were kind of slipping. However, another trouble that they did face were turnovers, with Mahaney having 3 and Solo having 4 turnovers. Your thoughts, Avery?
Yeah, again, I just think that we really need to work on our defensive game, and we also need to be a little bit more aggressive when we play. And kind of going off of, I know, for the last game we talked about, the percentages. We had a 47% field goal percentage and a 26% 3-point field goal percentage beyond the arc, which is not what you want to see on the box score. If you're Dan Hurley, that's not what you want to see from your team. You want to see that you keep growing as time goes on and as we reach March. And again, like we talked about with the game against Butler, we're really struggling with defending at the boards. Like you said, Terrace fouled out. I know Samson Johnson's been getting a little bit of foul trouble, and that's what's really keeping us out of these games, and that's what's having us lose these games. And I think that, we really need to just work on getting our reps in on the defensive side of things. I'm also talking about Alex Caravan. You mentioned that he had fouled out. I really think that he's kind of missing a step a little bit without his, I know he liked to call him his Padawan, Liam McNeely. Alex Karaban is definitely the type of player who performs well when he's partnered up with somebody else. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of had that with, like, Cam Spencer last year, Donovan Clingan last year, and this year definitely has been Liam McNeely for him. And when you're without your, I guess, partner on the court, if so to say, for more, like, what has it been, like a month-ish, it really takes a toll on him, and you can really definitely see that from a perspective of a fan. And, you know, I think as time goes on, I really think that, like I said, as we reach the month of March, we really need to stop making these simple mistakes. We really need to stop getting ourselves into foul trouble so easily. We really need to cut down on these turnovers, and we really need to start shooting better beyond the arc.
I 100% agree. I mean, this game was a prime example of what we're missing without Liam McNeely.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like he could have made a big difference in this game, but
what are you going to do? We move on to the next game, we regroup, go back to the locker room, as they say. And that brings us to our next game, which is DePaul tomorrow night, again at the XL Center, in front of the Husky fans. Tip-off is scheduled for 8 p.m., and a player that the Huskies should look out for is Jacob Meyer, who's averaging around 24 points per game. You know, some fans might look at this as sort of like a cupcake game, but in my opinion, it is a must-win. Especially, it's going to be a really big confidence booster if we do win this game for the Huskies as we move down the stretch. According to various media sources, it looks like we're not going to have Liam McNeely again tomorrow.
It could be a game-time decision, but it's looking very unlikely.
Yeah, and no Ahmad Noel either, as he is suffering an ankle injury. Julia, do you have any thoughts on this?
Like I said, it's a must-win game, not only for their confidence, but just for overall the way the season has been. And yeah.
Yeah. You guys can watch the game on Peacock. I know we'll be tuning in, but that's all we have for you guys today. I'm Avery Becker.
I'm Julia Sasso.
And this has been Run It Back, and we'll see you guys next week.